I thought I'd make a quick video as I planned earlier. I was trying to think of anything to cover while I was in the gym, but anyway, yeah. So I pushed myself quite a lot. So yeah. So anywho, yeah, I had a couple of Red Bulls as well, so to give me some energy. But on that note, I love companies like Red Bull and Fanta and others, Coca. Well, Fanta's owned by Coca, to sponsor football events and tournaments and leagues and cups and things like that in Italy. But yeah, this video really is about, as I've been mentioning in my videos in October, talking about Black history and dyslexia awareness, and how I'd love to raise awareness of dyslexia in different countries, especially developing countries. But in the case of football or soccer, if you like, or Calcio, soccer or Calcio, I'm from the UK, of course, as you can probably tell by my accent, although I speak a bit funny anyway. I probably have a unique voice or a unique accent, which is probably not the best, but anyway. But yeah, so I grew up calling it football, and I used to live for football really till I developed other passions. So I couldn't see anything other than football being important. Nowadays, I'm interested in philanthropy and other things. But yeah, so as I say, I'd love to spread awareness or information about dyslexia, raise awareness and spread information about HD who can play football at least to some level, and preferably as good players as possible, and possibly practice with Italians generally, and also practice at Celtic Park. And maybe Celtic in the future could host fundraising events also to raise awareness about dyslexia, as I say, and like fund projects such as helping dyslexic entrepreneurs in developing countries and across Africa and Asia, as well as Ireland. Obviously, Celtic's connected to Ireland as well, and Italy normally I think has quite a good relation with Ireland as well. So I think it would be great to see those sorts of things and develop those sorts of ideas. And maybe every Friday I'll try, or whenever possible, I'll try and cover some ideas about, in October at least, and next year in March and August as well. I think all being well, covering in every Friday of in next year in March, August, and October. So every Friday I'll cover a little bit of ideas to do with how I, as a dyslexic, come up with ideas, hopefully to benefit Italian football, and hopefully to learn to speak properly as well, such as bringing in fundraisers, and hopefully I'd like to think like I have unique ideas as a dyslexic, and other dyslexics will probably have unique ideas as well. Some of them run businesses. Quite a few dyslexics run businesses. I think the statistics in the UK are 20% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic, and in America it's 35% out of a population of 10 and 20% respectively of the wider population. So I think a lot of people would be surprised to find that 20% of UK self-made millionaires and 35% in the US are dyslexic, and there's probably been lots of footballers and managers with dyslexia. I think it'd be interesting to find information about footballers with dyslexia, as well as ADHD and other related conditions. I can't imagine there'd be too many with autism or my other condition like dyspraxia. As far as I know, I've got dyslexia and dyspraxia, but I imagine there'd be lots of footballers with dyslexia and ADHD. Dyspraxia is more, people with dyspraxia suffer with, struggle with coordination and movement. So it manifests itself physically, as I put it. So practical tasks we normally struggle with, things like even driving or any sports. I suppose my dyspraxia is probably fairly mild because I learned to drive, although I don't drive anymore. I passed my test on the second attempt, although I did have a lot of lessons. I actually passed my theory the first time, but a lot of dyspraxic people probably never learn to drive or cook or do some tasks which other people would think are simple. And I don't think there's a massive amount of dyspraxic people in sports, including football. But dyslexia, I'm sure there's lots of dyslexics who love football. I think it'd be interesting, as I say, to find out the statistics. I'd love to work with organisations like FIFA and UEFA and others to find out if there are dyslexics in football, and maybe they can come out, so to speak, and talk about their being dyslexic, just as other people have, other celebrities. And I know one of the person who used to play for a rival team, for Rangers, which are the rivals of Celtic, Stephen Naismith. He was the patron. I don't know why I did that. So Stephen Naismith, I think his name is the patron of Dyslexia Scotland. So I've heard of him, and I think there are one or two others who are dyslexic. So I think it'd be great to find out, maybe do some research and find out, or maybe work with others to get some research and find some numbers about what percentage of people what percentage of footballers, managers, coaches, and others have dyslexia. Maybe even I myself will be surprised to find out people who probably didn't come out and say they're dyslexic, but they can come out and, so to speak, and say they're dyslexic. And as Matt Hancock, the MP, said, he came out as dyslexic, so to speak. But yeah, so it would be great to see if there are a lot of people they could inspire others who who would have never thought those footballers are dyslexic. So again, it could give them inspiration. I'd love for us to connect together. I used to have an idea. I think somebody already developed this, but called Dyslexia United FC, for a team of people who are mostly dyslexic. And maybe you have three players who are not dyslexic, but the rest of the players would be dyslexic. And yeah, I think it would be, as I say, as a fan of Italian football, as I mentioned in my previous video, and as a dyslexic, I'd love to combine the two, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. So raise awareness of dyslexia. I think I heard from an Italian a long time ago. I think I lost contact with him, but he was on Facebook, and he was talking about how he doesn't want to be seen as stupid. And people in Italy probably, as well as many countries, probably still see dyslexic people as slow. So if they know we have strengths like in football, which Italy is a big footballing country, a big football-loving country, then hopefully they will hold dyslexics in higher regard and think, even if we're not the best academically, we could help to make Italian football proud again. So yeah, hopefully every Friday I'll come up with new ideas. As I say, I don't know how original this idea is, but I know there already are quite a lot of big investors in football, but I'd love to, I have ideas such as encouraging Italian politicians, councillors, businesses, companies, banks included, investors, investment funds, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds, if there are any in Italy or around the world, or people of the diaspora, and maybe even Italian fans as well, to invest in a local club and to invest in like youth development opportunities for young people to play football, spend time playing football and taking those risks. So I think of ideas like that, which I think are a bit quirky. I don't know if other people have thought of similar ideas, or maybe they're not even that good, but maybe they're a bit naive of me. But I think that it would be, I would say, pretty cool, and see banks and businesses and some of the wealthiest people, Fortune 500 companies, Forbes, richest people, and people like that, investing in Italian football, and as I say, maybe even like investment, Berkshire Hathaway, and all sorts of investors, Bridgewater, BlackRock, and companies name I can't remember, Blackstone and companies like that. Some of the wealthiest companies in the world investing in Italian football. This would create a dilemma for me because I'm quite anti-war, and a lot of these companies are involved in war. So I do wonder if they did invest in Italian football, just as they have done with Man City in England, obviously, and Newcastle recently, and Chelsea in the past. I wonder, it would be quite difficult to criticize them if they were investing in Italian football. So that would be a bit of a dilemma for me. But how could I criticize them at the same time? But yeah, so I'd love to hear from other dyslexics. Maybe if I could encourage some other dyslexic people to be fans of Italian football, even outside of Italy, and especially in Italy, to get behind the team, and like the Italian FIGC, and maybe to work with UEFA and FIFA as well, and other organisations, the Italian government, and politicians and councillors, even rival politicians, to work together to benefit Italian football. Again, that's another idea I have, and they could host events to do with how to spread awareness of dyslexia through football, as I say, in Italy. So as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think my ideas are absolutely bonkers? Do you think they're workable? Do you think I'm being naive, or do you think they are quite good ideas? Or what ideas do you have that you could add to them, or even take my ideas and add to them, or even have your own? So yeah, please let me know what you think, and I'm out. Peace and love.